So let's talk about insecurities. I mean, we all have them. Maybe it's that annoying feeling that you're not enough in some way, you're not smart enough, you're not attractive enough, you're not talented enough. Or maybe it's more specific, like you're feeling self conscious about how you look, how you sound, or how you show up in the world. But here's the truth. Insecurities are part of being human. But the problem is that we often let them define us. We let them creep into our thoughts and they make us second guess ourselves. They make us hold back or shrink away from opportunities that we might even want. And I've been there for years. I felt like my insecurities were this constant reminder of everything that I wasn't. And I thought, if I just worked harder, if I just hid the parts of myself that I didn't like and I tried to become more perfect or achieved more, then I'll finally be confident. But this never worked. What changed for me was realizing this. Confidence doesn't come from trying to fix your insecurities. It comes from learning to embrace both your strengths and your weaknesses. Because true self-acceptance isn't about ignoring your flaws. It's about understanding that your imperfections don't make you less worthy. Hi guys, I'm Andriana and welcome back to my channel. So, in today's video, we're going to break down how you can overcome insecurities by embracing all parts of yourself. We're gonna talk about why insecurities show up, how to shift your mindset, and the specific steps that you can take to feel more secure in who you are. So this is not about pretending to love everything about yourself or fake positivity, fake it till you make it, but it's about building a deeper and a more genuine relationship with yourself. A relationship where you're not constantly at war with who you are. So let's get into it. So before we talk about overcoming insecurities, let's understand where they come from. So most insecurities, they don't come out of nowhere, but they are learned. So think back to when you were a kid. I mean, you probably weren't sitting around and you were worrying about whether your nose was too big or whether you were smart enough. Those insecurities usually come from experiences, they come from comparisons or from messages that you pick up along the way. So maybe someone made an offhand comment about your appearance and that stuck with you. Maybe you grew up in an environment where perfection was expected and you felt like you could never measure up. Or maybe you were constantly comparing yourself to people on social media that seem to have it all figured out. The problem is that once insecurity takes root, it doesn't just stay in the background, but it's like a seed that starts to grow and it becomes part of the lens through which you see yourself. So you will start to focus on what you lack instead of what you have. But here's something to remember. Insecurities aren't a reflection of your worth, but they're a reflection of your beliefs. And beliefs can be challenged and they can be changed. So what's the mindset shift you can make so you can realize that you're not defined by your weaknesses? One of the biggest traps that we fall into is letting our weaknesses or the things that we perceive as weaknesses to define us. But here's the truth. Your worth isn't based on being perfect, and your weaknesses don't cancel out your strengths. So think about it this way. When you admire someone, is it because they're perfect? Probably not. Probably it's because you find them real, you find them honest, you find them relatable, you find them the same style as you. The same is true for you. The parts of yourself that you're insecure about, they don't make you unworthy, but they make you human. So to overcome insecurities, you need to shift your mindset from I need to fix what's wrong with me to I need to embrace all parts of me. And this doesn't mean that you won't want to grow or improve. It just means that you're starting from a place of self-acceptance and not a place of self-rejection. So here's an example. So instead of thinking that I'm terrible at public speaking, so I'll never be confident, reframe it and say that public speaking is hard for me, but I'm great at connecting with people at one-on-one. That's a strength that I can build on. And when you stop seeing your weaknesses as failures and you start seeing them as areas for growth or balance, they lose their power to hold you back. What we don't understand about strengths and weaknesses is that they are two sides of the same coin. And one of the most freeing realizations is that your strengths and your weaknesses, they are connected. They are two sides of the same coin. So what I mean here is that if you're super detail oriented, that's an incredible strength. But it might also mean that you're prone to overthinking, which you can see as a weakness. So another one is that if you're naturally sensitive, that's a beautiful strength. It means that you're empathetic and that you're in tune with others. But it might also make you more prone to feeling overwhelmed or feeling hurt. The point here isn't to erase the challenges that come with your strengths, but is to recognize that both your strengths and your weaknesses are part of the same whole. And you can't have the one without having the other. You can't have the flowers without the rain. And this is why embracing yourself fully, your strengths and your weaknesses and everything in between, is so important. And when you stop trying to separate them, you start to see yourself more clearly. A very key thing is to stop comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. Comparisons is the thief of joy and is also one of the fastest ways to feel insecure. And in today's world, it's easier than ever to compare yourself to others because you see everybody else's life so easily and so accessible to us to see what they are doing. But the thing that we don't understand is that what you're seeing online or even in real life sometimes is just a fraction of someone's story. You're comparing your behind the scenes, the messy, the unfiltered parts of your life to someone else's highlight reel. You don't know, maybe they have the same struggles but they don't show them. And so this comparison is not fair to you. So next time you catch yourself comparing, remind yourself that you don't see the full picture. So everyone has insecurities, everyone has struggles, and everyone has challenges, even if they don't show them. Your value is not tied to how you measure up to others, but it's tied to how you show up as yourself. So instead of comparing, shift your focus inward and ask yourself, what is one thing that I'm proud about myself today? And the more you practice celebrating your own wins, the less power comparison will have over you. So overcoming insecurities isn't about fixing everything you think that is wrong with you. It's about changing how you see yourself. It's also about recognizing that your strengths and your weaknesses are both valuable, and that you don't need to be perfect to be worthy. But here's the thing, knowing isn't enough. The transformation comes when you put it into action. And right now we're going to dive into the specific strategies that you can take to help you embrace your strengths, manage your insecurities, and build real lasting confidence. So grab a notebook, grab your notes app, whatever you have near you, and let's get started. First of all, you need to lean into your strengths intentionally. One of the easiest ways to feel more confident is to focus on what you're already good at, and that's your strengths. But here's the catch. You need to do that intentionally. And here's how. First of all, write down 3 strengths that you are proud of. Don't overthink this. What are just 3 things that come naturally to you or that people often comment and compliment you on? Secondly, identify how those strengths show up in your life. Are you using them often? Or are you holding back because of insecurity or of fear? And thirdly, find new ways to lean into them. So for example, if you are a great listener, look for opportunities to connect with people one-on-one. If you're creative, start a project that excites you, even if it's just for fun. So the more you focus on what you're already good at, the less space you're gonna have for your insecurities to grow. Strengths build momentum. And you need to build daily habits that reinforce your confidence. Confidence isn't something you either have or you don't have. It's something you build. And one of the best ways to build it is through consistent habits. So here are some 3 habits you can try. You need to practice self-compassion. When you make a mistake or you feel insecure, you can't beat yourself up, but you can ask yourself, what will I say to a friend in this situation? And you need to treat yourself with the same kindness. Secondly, you need to celebrate your small wins. Every day, write down one thing that you're proud of. It doesn't have to be huge. Maybe you have tried something new, maybe you set a boundary, or you just simply got through a tough day. Acknowledging your progress, even in small ways, builds confidence over time because it reminds you that, listen, I've done this today, I have achieved these things today, so I have this trust in myself to keep doing stuff. So this builds more confidence in you. And thirdly, limit comparison. Spend less time on social media if it makes you feel like you are failing, and instead focus on your own journey. These habits might seem small, but over time they create a strong foundation for confidence. A key thing here is that you need to surround yourself with the right people. You know, they say that you are the sum of the 5 closest people around you. The people you spend time with have a huge impact on how you see yourself, and you don't realize it, but it works in a subconscious level because those are your reference points, and those 5 reference points are what your subconscious is going to draw from to create your reality. So if you're constantly surrounded by people who criticize or dismiss you, your insecurities are going to grow. But if you're around people who uplift you and they support you, your confidence will thrive. So here's how to create a supportive circle. You need to identify who makes you feel good about yourself, who in your life supports you and celebrates your wins and accepts you as you are. When you recognize those people, intentionally spend more time with them. Secondly, you need to set boundaries with negative influences. If someone constantly puts you down or triggers your insecurities, it's okay to limit your time with them or even to cut ties altogether if it's necessary. And thirdly is very important to seek out mentors or role models. Look for people who inspire you, and not because they are perfect, but because they embrace their strengths and they embrace their weaknesses in a way that feels real. And it's a real life example for you to follow. And the right people will also remind you of your worth. A big part of confidence is shifting from perfectionism to authenticity. One of the biggest drivers of insecurity is the belief that you need to be perfect in order to be worthy. But perfection is a myth. It's unattainable, and chasing it only makes you feel worse. So instead of striving for perfection, focus on authenticity. Ask yourself, what do I value the most? And let your actions and your choices to be aligned with those values, even if they're not perfect. You also need to be honest about your struggles. Vulnerability, as we said before, is not a weakness, but it's courage. And sharing your insecurities with trusted people can deepen your connections and then can remind you that you're not alone. And of course, you need to celebrate progress over perfection. Confidence doesn't come from getting everything right, but it comes from showing up when you said you were gonna show up. It comes from trying and learning along the way. And the more you let go of perfectionism, the more room you create for real confidence to grow. So, overcoming insecurities isn't about changing who you are, but it's about embracing all the parts of yourself. Your strengths, your weaknesses, your wins, and your struggles. They all make up the unique whole person that you are. Confidence doesn't come from hiding your flaws or pretending to be someone that you're not, but it comes from knowing your worth, even when you don't feel perfect. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this video helped you. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I love you, and I'll see you in the next video.